multiple offer situations, when you have the buyer, it can be frustrating. When you have the seller, it's like a blessing. You love every second of it, right? So want to go over a couple of reminders. There's some things that have come up in the last week that are making me realize maybe I should talk about this out loud. I kind of feel like I'm like the peacemaker lately. I'm just seeing too many agents get frustrated about different things, get frustrated with each other. And sometimes I think people lose sight of basic principles when they get really busy or they get a frustrated client. And there's a couple things that I want to go over. Number one, when you're representing seller, obviously, when you get 15 offers on a property, getting back to everyone right away can be a lot of work. It can be a big task. And, you know, when you have everybody calling you and everybody trying to kiss up to you because they want their offer accepted, you know, it can feel like a lot. But, you know, you got to try to do it. When you're representing seller, you need to get back to people, let people know what's going on, update them, set realistic time frames, talk to your sellers about trying to set, you know, timelines that will be, you know, somewhat feasible to the agent community to give people a chance. You know, I've even heard stories of properties that, like, not everybody gets a chance to go into because there's just so many showing requests that the listing agent says, hey, you know, this is the only times that we have available. If you can't do it, sorry. And then when they book up, hey, sorry. Well, I mean, that is the right of the seller and the listing agent. It's frustrating for a buyer's agent if that happens. And I don't recommend that listing agents do that, but they can do it. So just remember, when you're representing seller and you're in a multiple offer situation, you've got to make sure to communicate. You've got to get back to people. If you set a deadline, try to stick to the deadline. If you don't, you're going to irritate a lot of buyer's agents. Buyer's agents are going to start thinking you're being unethical. And I will say, I think agents run to that agent's being unethical way too fast. And I see this in all areas, outside our company, inside our company. And, you know, that came up a couple times today. And I just want to remind people that, you know, sellers run the show here. The seller can set a deadline and then an hour before the deadline say, you know, I want that offer and that's it. I want that offer and I'm not countering anyone else. They can do that, and everybody needs to remember that. But as a listing agent, you want to try to communicate. As a buyer's agent, you need to make sure to let your buyers know the possibilities. Let them know that they're in a competitive situation, that they might not get it. I mean, when there's 15 offers, odds are against them, right? I've heard stories even today. I had an offer 75 over asking and I can't believe I didn't get it. There must be something fishy going on. Well, that doesn't always mean there's something fishy going on. I heard from some agents outside the company asking questions about ours inside. I heard some from inside the company questioning things with agents outside. And, you know, I every single day I talk to agents outside the company, literally every day. And I hear all different things. And, you know, we've got to remember that the seller runs the show, and it all comes down to communication, setting realistic expectations, and understanding that, you know, when you're a listing agent and you get 15 offers, it's a lot of work to get back to everyone, but you really need to try to do it. So I'll say it again, and I feel like a preacher lately, but guys, we are realtors. We've got to be professional. We've got to work together. We've got to communicate with one another. And I really do think that people need to not run so fast to unethical. That word is thrown around just way too easily. But at the same time, I think realtors got to make sure they're doing a good job communicating with everyone. You got to remember, you know, if you mistreat a buyer's agent that's got an offer on your listing, they're going to remember that. Let me just say this, even if they feel mistreated. You know, I remember when I was selling, you know, sometimes I'd be negotiating multiple offers. I'd be targeting one, hoping they get it because their offer was better or something. And sometimes I do an email, like a blind copy email to 15 people or 10 people. And I'd say, just want to let you all know the seller decided to go with another offer. Thank you so much for your offer. I'll be in touch in the next day or two. And I would literally in the next day or two call, not text, not email, every single one of them. And sometimes I'd be like, should I be doing this? Like, this is so much time to call them all. But I'll tell you, I'm glad I did. Because you want to try to stay in good graces with other agents. When you do, they'll remember that and they'll work with you in the future. And that's what you need. So guys, that's just a reminder that I wanted to mention. I got a whole bunch of other videos I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. If you have ideas on things that you want me to go over, go ahead and post them. But I will be back at you probably before the weekend. And that's all. Have a good night, my friends. Going in to get my kids into bed.